So today's Sunday. You know what that means? It means almost all the good stores are closed. That's what it means. It means that the bakery right across the street that I really like is closed. But besides that, it also means it's a day for me to sit in front of a camera and talk about what's on my mind. To, like, I don't know, just get off what's on my chest and maybe have somebody watch it, maybe have nobody watch it. But either way, I feel like I'm venting and it just allows me to feel so much better. I really recommend you try it. It's like a new type of therapy type of thing. You say how you feel and everybody on YouTube tells you how you really should feel, but whatever. Okay, so basically I thought I would talk about the next generation and how I hate them. And that sounds really harsh, especially because I come from a generation where I don't really think that we're like top-notch generation. Just gonna say, seems everybody about my age, I'm 18, just so you know, about to turn 19 on the 24th, yeah. Anyways, so everybody from like my generation, the 90s, everybody's like, you know, like we're the last good group of kids and stuff. And I'm gonna break it to us, but we're really not. I mean, not to say that like we couldn't have been. I mean, we had a great foundation, we had good TV shows, and we had pretty good parents, I'd say. But for the most part, all of us grew up kind of bratty and spoiled, and as the years go on, the kids keep getting worse. I mean, a lot of people I know about my age talk back to their parents, and all I'm gonna say is the past couple generations probably wouldn't have done it, or at least not the way that we do it, but that's besides the point. There was this kid at my work who was about 10, and I wanted to hit her in the face. And it's not just the fact that I wanted to hit her in the face, it was the fact that she came in to where I work, which is a children's shoe store, as I've said before, with the worst attitude ever. She comes in and she asks me, or she comes in, she's trying on shoes, I ask her if she needs any help, and she looks at me and she goes, "I'm 10. I think I know what I'm doing by now. I think I can figure out how to measure my own foot." Whoa. You could have just said no. Like, no thank you would have been the polite thing to say. You didn't need to go on this whole little, like, whatchamahooey, I'm a brat, I think I know what I'm doing type of conversation. But whatever. So she measures her own foot, she measures it wrong, and asks me to go and get a shoe. She doesn't even like say it nicely, she just goes, "My shoe, if you could go and get the right size, that'd be helpful." Whoa, like, what? You can't say thank you, you can't say anything remotely nice? No? You're just gonna have an attitude this whole time? Alright, brat. So I go in and get her shoe, and it's clearly too big because she measured her foot wrong, because she doesn't know her left from her right. So we remeasure her, and I go in and get the correct shoe, and I get it in 2 different sizes because they don't come in half sizes, and she measures the half size. And I recommend her getting the bigger size just because it'll last you longer, and she tells me she wants the smaller size because it fits now. And I was like, that's fine, I mean, it's really up to you, but I'm just saying that you're going to get more use out of the bigger size. So then my boss comes over, my boss tells her she needs the bigger size, and the girl looks at us and she goes, "I think I know what I'm doing." So she buys the smaller size, leaves, comes back the next day, asks for the bigger size, and tells me that if I had done my job right, she would have gotten the correct size to begin with. Whoa, bitch. You may be 10, but right now I'm currently wanting to whoop your ass. So I really think you should get the hell out of the store and never return. Or at least not return until you get some manners and learn how to talk to people. And the reason I think that she's so spoiled is I think it has to do with parenting these days. And I feel that I really shouldn't say anything about parenting because I'm not a parent, so it's not my place to sit there and judge how you parent your child. But there's certain things that I just feel are common sense you should do with a kid. For example, I was at a study group one time at a pizza place with a couple of people. You know who you are, yeah, AP Psych. Miss Matthews, that test was hard. Anyways, we were all together and we were all studying, and this little girl comes over and starts to mess with us. She's rude and just like I've never been so irritated with a child. She kept talking about how she was a zombie and she was going to eat us, and we're trying to study and we're being nice, and we're like, excuse me, can you please go away? When really I'm thinking in my head, you need to get the fuck away from me. And she starts to take one of the kids' hats and like runs off with it, and she's like throwing things at us. Meanwhile, her parents are sitting off yonder watching and doing nothing. And after about putting it up with it for an hour and a half, and let me just say, my tolerance at this point was about to skyrocket and shoot through the roof, seeing as I've told this girl quite often now that she needs to back up and leave. So finally I turned to her and I go, where are your parents? She looks at me with like fear in her eyes and she goes, why? And I go, who are your parents? And she goes, well, I'm not telling you. And like walks off. Fine. I don't really care who your parents are. I just get up and walk over to the whole group of parents and I tell them all, whoever's little girl it is needs to get over and grab her because she's being really rude. And her dad comes back at me with this response. Oh, well, I mean, I saw how she was behaving, but I just figured that she worked here. Who cares if I work here? Whether I work here, I'm eating here, I'm sitting, who cares what I'm doing? About within 5 minutes of her sitting there throwing shit at us, you should have marched your ass over there, grabbed her, taken her out of the restaurant, and like gone home and given her a real good spanking because that's what she needed, okay? Instead, you don't need to sit there and tell me, oh, I thought you worked here, I thought it was okay, because it's not okay. But that's what's wrong with kids these days, is they're allowed to get away with everything. Everything. My kids, it's gonna be different, okay? My kids, let me just say, you get in trouble, yeah, you better hope that they call the police before they call me. Because the police are gonna at least put on the flashing blue lights on that car and you're gonna hear the sirens. I'm gonna come up dead, pitch black, in the dark, in my car, no lights, and run you over for being an idiot. I raised you right, you should know better. And if you do by chance get taken to jail, you better hope that you stay in jail. Because I will not come and bail you out. And if I were to come and bail you out, you would have way worse experience back at home. So you better hope that they take you to jail and they keep you in jail until my temperature cools down and I am no longer mad. You know what else the other problem is? Is parents these days are always like, well, there's those parents that either just want to sit their kid in front of the TV the whole time, and then there's those parents who are like, I'm never going to let my kid watch TV. You need to find a medium. Your kids should be allowed to watch TV to a certain extent. The reason kids need TV is because they're either super overactive, and you need to sit them in front of the TV so they can learn to calm down and sit and focus on something, or you need to completely, like, cut back on the TV because now your kid has become this giant slob of a brat who only watches bratty children on TV and doesn't learn how to act in the real world. That's where you went wrong, okay? You need to take him out and show him what the real world is and then have him watch the bratty children on TV so that they understand if they act like that bratty child on TV, they're gonna get their ass whipped in the real world. That's where they need to draw the line and find a happy medium between TV and no TV. You should also read books to your kids. And while we're at it, you should read really good books like about kids that end up like on the streets, living homeless. You should always make your child realize they have it better than they could have it. This way they're thankful, they're grateful. I can't stand ungrateful children. Ugh, like for example, there was this other little girl that came into my work, and apparently she was supposed to like go and do some like national gymnastics thing, and her parents spent all this money. They already paid for the hotel, they paid for a plane ticket, they paid for her to go to nationals because you had to like buy a seat or something like that, I don't know. And they spent over like $10,000 on it, and she's like 8 years old. And then she gets invited to a birthday party that has real live bunnies, so she ends up not going to the gymnastics things. I would have been like, no, I paid for that shit. You're going. If you do good, we'll consider you taking to like an animal zoo or something, and you see all the animals you want. But that's where they went wrong. This little girl's gonna grow up thinking she could do whatever she wants and she could waste all the money she wants. That's not okay. It's really not. She's ungrateful. That's what the problem is. And yeah, so have a good weekend. Happy Sunday. I hope your weather's nicer than mine. I thought it was going to be sunny. Instead it's really cloudy, which is really putting a damper on my mood because I was going to sit out in the sun today and try and work on getting my roots back to blonde because this is looking like some weird ombre thing. And I have my whole theory on how an ombre thing started, but side note, we'll talk about that some other time because this is becoming way too long. So bye.